Hi everyone. Happy Friday. Let's make sure we are in the correct place on Facebook. I think we are. All right. We'll wait just a second to give everyone an opportunity to find us, and then we will jump right in. Hope everyone's doing good. It's a bit of a blustery, cold day today. I don't like it. It's supposed to be warm and springy, right? So they just need to cool it. Make sure you say hello. Let me know you're here and that you can hear me okay. And then we are going to jump in. I have a super cute and easy fun fold for you tonight. Hey, Nancy, which is a great way to show off your designer series paper. And we all have that. So I think you're going to like this card. All right. I think I can see everyone. It looks like it. Comments are not coming up. They are on my phone, but not on my laptop. So let's see what's going on. Gotta love technology, right? Never fails. All right. Well, let's go back over here. Can you explain how to get a catalog when you buy a bundle, etc.? Yes. Hold on for me, Terry. Just a second. There we go. Now I can see them. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today is Friday, March 27th, 2026. Crazy, right? That there's only 4 more days left in this month. I'm like, goodness gracious, it's flying by. And Terry, I will talk to you about that in just a second. But I wanted to just kind of touch base with everyone. Hope you're doing well. We are taking things one day at a time, and I actually have the whole house to myself for the weekend, which seems very weird. Very weird. Mark actually went to visit our daughter, Sarah, in Pittsburgh with our oldest daughter, Shelby. So they left this morning, and it's just feels weird. I mean, I'm loving it. At the same time, it just feels weird. I know, call me crazy, but even my dogs are acting like, where is he? They keep looking for him, especially Rudy. Every time I open the door, they're like, is he coming in? Why isn't he coming in? So we will see how our weekend goes. I have a long to-do list. I've already checked off several things this evening, so that's a win. And anybody else like that? You make a list of things you want to do, but you can't do them because you have company or your partner, your husband, whatever is there. And you can't always do what you want to do house-wise because they're right there. Not complaining, but it's kind of nice to know that I can just do it without interference, right? Okay, so everybody can hear me. Welcome to everyone that's here. Like I said, make sure you're commenting, saying hello, letting me know you're here so your name goes into our drawings. And of course, if you will please share the video, I would greatly appreciate it. I just want to remind you of a few things. So this month we had some new kits released we had our next release of online exclusives for the month of March. We have a brand new product of the month called Notes of Spring. Isn't this stinking cute? We're actually using it tonight. I'm excited. But you can also still take advantage of another product of the month that was for the month of February. And that's this gorgeous paper called Painted Illusions. And we're actually going to use that as well tonight on our card. Now, product of the month is available to anyone who spends $75 before shipping, tax, and after any rewards. And you can get it for $5. Now, these are limited edition. You can only get them this way, and they're limited to one per month per person. What I mean and what I want to clarify is that if you spend $150, unlike previously when we were used to Celebration, you could stack. You can't stack with product of the month. Okay, so if there are two that you want, let's say that you haven't gotten January, which is still available, and you haven't gotten February, and you haven't gotten March, the only way you're going to be able to do that is to place 3 separate $75 orders. So a couple people have said, I placed a $150 order, I got one. That's why, okay? And if you've ordered one of the months already, you've already reached your limit for that one, but you can purchase any of the others that are still available that you haven't. Okay, so if you've already bought January, you can't get it again. Okay, and I know that's disappointing for some, but that is our new promotion. And quite honestly, I'm loving it. And I got to see the one that's coming up for April, and oh my gosh, it's a die that covers the whole front of your card, and you're going to love it. So as soon as I can share that with you, I will absolutely do that. We kind of got a little sneak peek of it as demonstrators, which was wonderful. So keep that in mind. And of course, when you purchase the product of the month through me in my online store, I like to send out a little thank you gift in addition to my other thank you gifts. And that is a PDF that has 8 projects and all the instructions for all projects using the product of the month. So it's been a lot of fun to make these and create them. And of course, I can see by your orders who is entitled to that. And I send those out at the beginning of the next month. That way I send them all out at the same time. So if you want to take advantage of that, you can. And of course, your order is already over the thank you threshold of $35, which is the embellishment of the month, which I'll show you in a bit. And you would get that too. So those things you can stack, which is kind of fun. Now, I've been reminding you for a while that pretty soon the last chance list is going to be refreshed, as well as a new catalog coming out in May. So remember, the last chance list is like what we're old timers are used to as the retirement list. And instead of that coming out with each catalog, it comes out more frequently, okay? But our new catalog is coming out in May. I do have it. I'm going to show it to you here in a second, just the cover. And I want to kind of show you in comparison how it stands up to what you're currently used to as far as a publication and how the program is changing, okay? But I want to remind you that with this upcoming last chance list, you're going to want to take advantage of any items that include the outgoing 2024-2026 in colors. That is Pretty in Pink, Petunia Pop, Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, and Summer Splash. So if there's anything in those items that you want, your re-inkers, your blends, the ink pad, cardstock, etc., don't wait. Okay. In fact, I think I saw that a couple of the reinkers are already sold out. So make sure you go check and get what you want sooner than later so that you're not disappointed when you can't get them. Okay. Now I'm also going to show you the new ink pads. I actually have the new end colors, and we'll talk about that here in a minute as well. But I did want to show you the new catalog. I love that it's a card party. And what I find interesting is, look at the front. It's got some highlights on it, much like a magazine. And as I've been saying, we are going away from having multiple catalogs available at the same time. So we know that we typically will get a big catalog in May, and that catalog lasts until the end of April. And then sprinkled in there, we have two mini catalogs that are running at the same time consecutively. Okay. On top of that, you've got the last chance list and the online exclusives. And I'll be honest with you, even though I've been a demonstrator for a long time, it's kind of hard to keep up with what's when, where, who, and what. So I'm pretty excited that starting with the May catalog, we are going to have 3, what I'm going to call freestanding publications that will be by themselves. So for example, our new catalog that I just showed you will run from May to August. Then our holiday catalog will go from August, September, October, November. Wait a minute, September, October, November, December. And then our spring catalog will be January, February, March, April, and it'll just keep going. Now, the catalogs are smaller, but they're larger than a mini catalog. So I'm going to give you an example. So here is the current annual catalog. And this catalog is 145 pages. So fairly thick, right? Okay. Our current mini catalog runs left to right. That orientation is going away. They will all be portrait, as I just showed you. Okay. This catalog was 75 pages. Okay. So now they are going to be, starting in May, roughly 87, 88 pages. Okay. What I like about this, quite honestly, is all of your ongoing carrying over consumables will be in every catalog. So what I mean is the designer series paper, the cardstock, the ribbon, the embellishments, all of that is going to be incorporated in every single catalog that will be available all of the time. So your core products, okay? Then you'll also have, with each release, new items that are in the catalog. Now, I've had people reach out to me and say, okay, well, there's a new catalog coming out. What's going to happen to products? Well, here's how it's going to work. When they release the new catalog, which I've already seen, I can tell you in this catalog, there are only a very small handful, and I'm going to say 4, I think I counted, stamp sets and or bundles that are coming out of the old catalog and moving over to the May to August catalog, okay? So if they're not going to carry them over, they're going to go into the last chance list, which means they are eventually going to go away as soon as they sell out, okay? If they're not on that list and they're not in the catalog, you're now going to find them over in the online exclusives. And I love that because now I only have basically 2 places to look for current stuff. The other thing is that if you don't have the publications, you can still go to the online store and it's going to tell you, and you can search by categories all in one place. So it's going to make things a lot easier, and you're not going to have to look over in this catalog to get my number for my cardstock, my ink pad, and my refill, and then jump over here because I want new product out of the mini catalog, right? And we've found that aside from core products, that's what's happening is most people want to shop and buy the new stuff. And they don't always go back over to the annual catalog and look at those products. They get them when they first come out, and then they kind of forget about them unless they are a new stamper or a new demonstrator who might not yet have products out of that. And I'm guilty. I find that at the beginning of the catalog, probably in the first 3 or 4 or 5 months, I purchase everything I want aside from consumables. And then I concentrate on the online exclusive releases and the mini catalog. So I'm anxious to have this get started and see what everyone thinks. But I don't want you to panic when you get a catalog from me that I'm saying is the first release and you're thinking it's an annual catalog and it's thin. Okay, so like I said, this one is 87 pages, but I love that our index is back. I love how they've laid it out. There's a lot of what I call fluff that is not in this book. And what I mean is that sometimes we'll have a suite or a stamp set that they want to highlight, and it takes up 3 or 4 pages, sometimes 2 or 3 2-page spreads of just that one product. That's where most of the reduction is coming. Also, the way that the catalog is laid out, it now is able to condense down and put things together in better orientation and in better organization within the catalog. So I think you're going to like it. If you're not currently working with a demonstrator and you'd like one, my catalogs couldn't be overnighted, so they're on the way. And as soon as I have them, you're welcome to swing by and pick one up, or you can come to an event and get one as well. And again, they start on May the 5th. So it's coming sooner than later, but of course you can grab a catalog now. Okay. So I'm excited. There are some gorgeous things in there. This is probably, I say this every time, but sometimes when I get a mini catalog, I'm not as, I don't want to say underwhelmed, okay? I want to say as whelmed. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not overwhelmed with some catalogs, whereas the others, I want the whole catalog and maybe not a few things. But I'm loving what I'm seeing in this new catalog, and I just got it today in hard copy. I've seen it for several days online in digital form. But I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to like that you don't have to search for multiple catalogs, like I said. And I think you're going to love a lot of the things that are coming. Some of the product, I did not get to go to on stage, but a lot of the product that was shared is stunning. And I personally can't wait to get my box. And as soon as it comes, we will unbox it live so you can see some of the things that are coming. But I'm very excited about where things are going and how things are looking. Now, if you happen to be a current demonstrator, and or a member of my team, of course, and you're wondering, like Terry, how do I get my catalog? You must place an order. In order to do that, you place your first demonstrator order, and at the top, there will be a banner that says, claim your catalog. All you have to do is click the little checkbox that's in that little banner, and that will add that to your cart, and it will come in your first demonstrator order, okay? If catalogs come before Sunday, which I doubt when I have my team meeting, if they don't come tomorrow, I'm going to have them at team meeting, and I will hand them out to anyone that wants to get one and then trade me back. But we'll see. But that's how you do it. All right. Hopefully that makes sense to you. What else is coming? Oh, I wanted to show you the new pads. So here is our existing pad, okay? And we all know that you have to lift it like a compact, and you see right then it sometimes sticks and gets a little tight and flips over, okay? These new pads, this is the Garden Glow. And when I put the camera down, I'm going to show them to you again. But you can see that they are pretty much, they're just a tad bit narrower as far as the case, but the pad is the same size. They are the same thickness, but these open like this. Like, look how easy that was, okay? And they are magnetic, so they stick to one another, so I can put them side to side. I can sit them on top of each other like this, and they hold, and then I can also stack them. Now, if you happen to have the Stampin' Up! Storage, these pads do fit, and the ink pad is in the top of the case, so it still does store upside down. So here are your colors: Golden Glow, Peaceful Pine, I love this one, Hydrangea Hue, and at first I thought it kind of looked like an old color we had called Ballet Blue. It's not. It's more of a purple blue, if that makes sense, but it's really, really pretty. A favorite that came back from the In Colors from many years ago is Crisp Cantaloupe. I love how this coordinates in. And then we really, really needed this one. This pink is called Barely Blush, and you can see it is an infinite, very soft, babyer pink maybe. I just love how it all compares. And then I also have, of course, the cardstock and the gems that you can see. But I think you're going to like these. They do fit in the storage. They do stick out just a tad because they're just a tad bit longer. But I'm excited to play with them. And then, of course, they are the new felt pad, okay, meaning they're not going to be squishy. They're going to be like they were years ago, where it is felt in the middle with kind of a little screen over the top, so you don't have to press so hard to pick up ink. It will be a very nice consistency when you do it, okay? So keep in mind about those. Then in addition, I've got events coming up I want to remind you of. The next Stampa Stack is going to be on April the 26th. That's all occasions. That's always the fourth Sunday. Creative Escape, I have a small handful of spots left. That is on April the 18th, and a week from today is the deadline to sign up. It's $50 for the day. It runs from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You have a 6-foot space. It includes your lunch and dinner. There's door prizes. There's raffles. We do all kinds of things, but we just have a great time. And you bring whatever it is that you want to work on to complete during the day. And I will have stamp sets, ink pads, my emboss machines, all my dies, etc. there for you to be able to use if you need to. So if there's a stamp set or a color that you wanted to use or play with, you're going to have them. And yes, I'll have the new pads there so you can try them out as well. But again, the deadline to register is this a week from today, which is is that the 4th? I cannot remember days, people. I don't know what it is. It's the 3rd, so a 3rd. Okay. And then for the save the date, make sure you put down June the 7th. And that's my annual BOGO sale where you come and shop from my retired product, and every dollar you spend, you get equal amount free in the new catalog that's coming out. So that is going to be on Sunday, June the 7th. Okay. Make sure you're commenting, saying hello, letting me know you're here. I think that's all the news. I have all of the names who commented last time. And we're going to draw for this project that we did, which was a fun fold. I love how this stands up. And of course, if you did not get to see me do this live videos for any of my Facebook Lives, I'll get shifted over to YouTube where they will be there for infinity because they only last for 30 days here. So let's see who is going to get this card. That's going to go to Kim Fogel. So Kim, I will get that ready for you. And then if you share my video, which I hope you do, your name will go into a separate drawing and you will get a stack of cards from my stash. So let's see who's going to get that. And those are going to go to Gail Coleman. So Gail, I think I have your address, but if not, I will reach out to you and get it so I can get those to you. Okay. And again, like I said, if you place an order that's $35 or more before shipping and tax and after any rewards, I always send out an embellishment as a thank you. And this month it is the Sparkle Dot Essentials. You'll have a whole pack. I've been using these. I love them so much. But you will receive a pack of these from me, and I always send those out. Usually about the beginning, I order them at the end of the month, and I send them out the first of the month, so you can be watching for those. All right, let's put the camera down. I'm going to let you see these pretty in colors. I've got them fanned out here for you. I messed them up while I was playing with things here, but let me put the camera down so you can see them, and then we're going to jump in. But you can see just how pretty an array of products these are. They fit in perfectly, and of course you can see this one, if I compare it to a Highland Heather or a Fresh Freesia, it's much more blue. This one is a little bit darker than Crushed Curry. The Cantaloupe is different. It's not peach and it's not Flirty Flamingo or Calypso Coral. It's kind of a mix in between. And then, of course, you've got that really soft pink. So I'm loving this addition of these colors and anxious to play with them. So, all right, let's jump in. And I'm going to show you what we're going to work with stamp set wise. This is the Notes of Spring. This is, of course, one of the products of the month. This one happens to be the March product of the month. I love how soft and delicate, and I love two steps, as you know. So I'm excited about these. And the sizes of the images, so we're going to work with the little bunny. They are pretty close to full size within this. There are a couple of stamp sets that I got a surprise about recently because I was looking at them here on my stamp set, and when I opened them up, it was seasonal celebrations. I was pleasantly surprised to see just how big they were. So I'm anxious to play with them some more, but I want to make sure you know these are pretty close to size. Okay. Photopolymer, of course, new packaging. And then this is the paper that is the Painted Illusions. It is 12 sheets. There are 4 patterns, and you get 3 of each one. And so they're simply just gorgeous. They're so soft color-wise. These are Darling Duckling, Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, and Pretty Peacock. So a wide variety. And I love this kind of wash look. So you've got that one with... Again, it's kind of watercolored. Looks like it's almost been inked and sprayed, but I love these. It almost looks like Resist to me, where they've embossed the lines in white. It's not, but that's the look it's giving us. You've got these flowers with another. Again, I love this array of all the colors. Such a pretty, pretty spray. Then you've got this one in the Lost Lagoon. We're using this piece tonight. I just think it's just stunning. It's so soft. And then you've got the Misty Moonlight with another one that has, again, those swirls. So some pretty, pretty patterns that you're going to be able to do a lot of things with. Okay, let me tell you about your pieces. And again, I will post all of these up on the Creative Cove with Donna Stamps shortly after, along with extra pictures. But you're going to start with a piece of Lost Lagoon. This is 6.5 by 5.5, scored at 2 1/4. You need another piece of Lost Lagoon. This one is 3.5 by 3.5, and you're going to score it at 3/4. A piece of basic white. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we need a couple of pieces of DSP. We need one pattern that is 2 by 5 1/4. A second pattern that's 2.5 by 3 1/4. And then you're going to need some scraps of basic white and Lost Lagoon to do some circles. Okay, this one is roughly 2.5. This one is, I believe, close to 1 3/4. And then I just have some little 1/2 inch by 2.5 inch strips in basic white and granny apple green. And of course, I've pulled all the colors straight from the Designer Series paper. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is our base. And what did I do with my bone folder? There it is. Okay, and we're just going to fold this over just like this to start with. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my piece of Designer Series paper. I'm actually using the same paper. I just flipped the patterns over. So we'll add this right to this one. And I want to put, I think I'm going to put the pink at the top. Just like that. Okay. Then on our second piece, here he is. This is scored at 3/4. And we're going to go ahead and burnish that little flap as well. Okay. And this is going to fit over here on the side. So we're going to fold our flap down. We'll add our adhesive to the flap, okay? And I'm actually going to run this all the way down. I could use liquid glue, but because it's going to be moving, I want to make sure it's going to adhere really well for me. Now, I like to kind of turn this sideways just so I can kind of see where the center is. And I want to push that all the way up to the edge so that it's flush, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and burnish that as well. So it's going to look like this once we get situated, okay? Then we'll add the smaller piece of Designer Series paper. Here to this panel. This goes together really quickly, and what's nice about it is you can use multiple pieces of Designer Series paper to kind of show it off. Okay, now I want to do some stamping, so let me pull these in. And on this little circle, I need a piece of grid paper. And I have a piece that is well loved, right? Okay, so I'm going to grab a crumb caking pad. here. Can't hold on to anything. Okay, that goes there. I'm going to ink up my little rabbit in crumb cake, and I'm just going to stamp him right here, full force. Okay. Just like that. So cute. Then there is it's kind of textured. And what's neat about it is, and I don't know if you can see it, when I move the stamp, it has some kind of like highlighting in it. There are darker spots versus lighter spots. And I want to stamp that off because I just want a light little bunny. And I have to get up over him to see what I'm doing here. So he looks like that. So cute. Now I am going to grab my marker, which I forgot. Petal pink. Yep. Okay. And I've got my petal pink blend. There we go. And I'm just going to add a little bit to his ear just to kind of pull in the pattern from the paper, okay? And he is going to go onto here, just like that. And we're going to hold on to him for a second. Okay, I'm going to do that one. All right, then on this piece, I'm going to use the Grainy Apple Green. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing. Now, for this floral greenery piece, you can see that there is this little sharp one right here with the dot. That is intended to go down. You can do it either way, but I want to make sure that you kind of see that's how it's intended. And then the highlight or the fill-in, you can see this one kind of has four little points, and this one has the square kind of at the bottom. That's what direction this goes when you fill it in, okay? So I'm going to put this over on the left-hand side, and I'm doing that because it's going to be under my panel, okay? And then I'm going to find those three little points, put those toward the top. Again, it's got that same kind of texture to it. And this doesn't really line up exact. So it kind of just briefly fills in just like that, okay? So it's a little bit on the abstract side in that it doesn't completely fill in what we're doing, okay? Then I've got two sentiments, and I'm going to stamp in Lost Lagoon. And I want to make sure that when I do this, on the inside, it's going to say a little note of thanks. And I want to put this toward the center so that my fold that's coming over from the right is going to pick that up. Okay, and it's going to tuck underneath there. And then I'm also going to use Lost Lagoon on this little strip. And I have a sentiment that says, especially for you. And I want to put that over to the right. So I want to make sure it's more to the right than in the center, and you'll see why here in just a second. Okay, good. So that works. All right. So we want those. So we can put all of our ink pads away. Move those over here. And now we can start assembling. So what I have, grab some dimensionals. This piece we're going to go ahead and add to the inside, and it is going to cover up where we attached our piece. So it's important that you put that little extension, that little arm on first before you add your inside piece, because your inside piece is intended to cover that up. So we're going to add that. And then again, make sure you do your stamping in the middle and over to the left so that your panels cover it up. Okay? So that's that piece. Now I've got these little granny apple green strips, and what I want to do is I'm just going to do a little banner end. Okay? So I'm going up to the center and cutting both of these. There's one. Oh. And then whoops. We'll do this one. Okay. So now these are just kind of going to be a little element, so to speak. So we're going to close our card for a second. We're going to lay our sentiment across, right, just to kind of look at what we're doing. And then this piece is going to go over here, all right? And it is actually only going to be attached on the side because we're going to tuck this panel underneath it to hold it closed, okay? So I want to make sure that my sentiment and everything is over enough to cover. And then these, I just want to add here. Now, I don't want them the same length, so I'm going to trim this one off just a tad. Okay, so we're going to add the sentiment, and then we're going to add, if I can hold on to things today, we'll put one up here, and we'll put a smaller one down at the bottom, and I'm going to put those up flush. So let me do those first. Where's my, right here in front of me. If it'd been a snake, it would have bit me. Okay, so I'm going to put this one on, and I want to make sure I have adhesive all the way to the edge. So we're going to put this one about here. Okay. And then this one is going to go here, and it's going to go all the way across, almost the full length. Okay. And I'm going to butt it up against the right-hand side because it will be covered up on the left-hand side, but you can always make it flush if you like. So we're going to add that here. Yep. And then we're going to add one more, and I want this one to be a tad bit shorter than that one, so it's not exactly the same. Okay, and we'll put that one there. All right, and then this one will go here. Just like that. Nope. Come on, Donna. There we go. I want to push it up flush. There is that. Okay, so we have those like that. So even if we had nothing there, when this is opened, you still have a nice little element that you can see. Okay, now we're going to add dimensionals. And what I want to do is I'm going to put my dimensionals not on the bunny, but I want to put them over here. And I'm going to make sure that I don't go too far over because I want to make sure I have room to tuck this under. So I'm going to lift these off. Okay. And then I'll lay my bunny over here just like that. Okay. so that my card can close by tucking this under the rabbit. Okay, and then I'm going to add some pearls to him. And you could have added some grass, etc. if you wanted with this. There is another element, but I wanted to just kind of leave him. So we're going to do one there, and then I'm going to add 2. I picked up some adhesive from somewhere. There we go. Okay, and 1 down here. All right, and there he is. Again, it just opens like this. So, super cute, super easy, limited pieces of cardstock. You can actually get everything out. And, of course, you could change this up. You could make another one. Here's one I did previously that's similar. Only on this one, this used the Everyday Happiness. I actually, on the inside, used another pattern of the DSP, and then I stamped my elements over here. So you could change your elements up to squares or whatever image you want to use. You can stamp. There's just a wide variety of things that you can do with this, but I love how you can show off the designer series paper and lots of different ones with whatever you are doing. So give that card a try. If you have any questions, just let me know. And again, like I said, I will have all of the measurements and some additional pictures up over on the Creative Cove shortly after this video. So everyone have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you next week at our usual time of Thursday, fingers crossed, at 8:30. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone, and thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.